Hey guys, Chris Lynton here from TribeFit, and today a beautiful sunny day in Sydney, big blue sky. So I thought I'd sit out here on the balcony rather than have the office walls a bit of a nicer background. But today we've got a very special guest, Benjamin. I always pronounce your last name wrong, but I tried to listen to a video a second ago. I think it's Gustafson. Is that correct?
So close, man. So close. I've had like Gafafafon my whole life, or Gustafson. It's Gustafson. It just
Gustafson.
whatever. You sounded it out phonetically. You did. That's fantastic.
Fantastic, mate. Well, appreciate your time. Thanks for being
Yeah.
here on today's interview. And I guess just to give a bit of an introduction to Ben from myself, and then I'll throw to him, and he can probably
Sure.
give a better one than myself. But Ben is a very successful online personal trainer. You've got, I think two business partners. Is that correct?
Just one, actually. Me and my one, but we've got a couple of trainers underneath us that are helping us out as well too, which is pretty
Beautiful.
cool.
One business partner, truckloads of clients. I think you messaged me the other week, and I think you did like 20K in the last, in that 2 week or 3 week period or whatever. But anyways, Ben,
Mhm.
mate, I'll throw over to you. But first and foremost, guys, anyone listening on this, Ben knows his stuff. He's been in the space for a while, truckloads of clients, good income, good earning, moved town recently, and is totally one-on-one. But anyways, mate, I'll throw
Yeah.
it to you. Give us a bit of a background on yourself. I'm sure you can do a better job than me.
That's awesome. Pretty good though, man. Pretty good. We just actually cracked the 150 client mark, which was
Hey,
pretty awesome. So yeah, man. So basically, I'm Ben. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. Originally, as Chris said, I just moved to another city. My face-to-face business is TurnFit, and we're based out of Vancouver, British Columbia, in Canada. I've been a PT for 4 years now, and I guess I signed on with you guys like a year ago. Typical stuff, man. Like just typical like became a PT, did all these other jobs. I was a chef before, I was a counselor before. Things were super stressful. I loved what I did, but it just wasn't helping people in the way that I wanted to. Got fitness was kind of always my thing, and of course, the chef background, nutrition is something that I do, and counseling is great motivation for face-to-face training and all that stuff for your clients. And did really well face-to-face, man. Started a business with one of my really good friends, and we've been jamming and vibing for a really long time, and for like the last 4 years now. And he was doing it on his own, and then him and I branded out and together over the last 4 years, and doing really, really well there. But it's just like that typical story, right? Like the reason that I'm here is just that you cap out, and that's what it is. Like things were really good. I was making decent money, 7 to 8K as a face-to-face trainer, but 45 hours in the gym or 40 hours in the gym is one thing. And trainers will get this, but not a lot of people do. And and I'm haggling my prices and stuff like that. And this is the part that always killed me about what we were doing. Is like, yeah, I'm making decent money, but, and again, trainers will get this, but it's like every hour spent in the gym with a client is at least another half an hour to an hour of your time. So you're at like an hour and a half to 2 hours of your time, and all of a sudden you're making half the income, or your hourly wage is cut in half. And and then all the other typical stuff that goes along with it, which is like if you're sick, there's no income. Clients go on vacation, your income fluctuates big time, and there's nothing really reliable about it. And we were beat and tired, and we were doing actually online before, which was pretty crazy. So, but we were charging like $20 a month with the idea of like, if we just get it out there
yeah,
and get like 100 clients, that's like $2,000 a month or what. It was stupid. The math was all wrong. The marketing was wrong. We were delivering crap programming, and like it just wasn't going anywhere, and it wasn't good, and it just became a huge time sink. But yeah, man, did that, and then signed on with you guys, and I haven't really looked back over the last year. We didn't really take things too seriously in the beginning, but really turned it on over the last 6 months. And I mean, well, we took it seriously, but we it was a slow build for us because we were still dealing with our face-to-face business and all of that stuff, and growing that and hiring trainers and whatnot. And really in the last 6 months, we're up over 150. We just hit the 150 client mark in the last 6 months and online, and we're charging good money for it, and it's good. Like it's really, really good. I went on my first vacation this year in 6 months, or sorry, 6 years. Sorry, that we talked about that before. 6 months or 6 years, which was pretty cool, and Bora Bora and stuff like that. Actually made money online doing that while I was on that trip, which was pretty fun. And then bought my first house with my wife, and moved to a different city, and just stuff that I couldn't do before. It just wasn't going to happen doing what I was doing, because there was no income if I wasn't working or being a part of. And I got to be here for this whole crazy process. I just went for a walk down by the lake where I live now with my dog. So before this interview, just to kind of chill out after the day, and
Yeah.
that's good, man. And that's kind of where we're at, and that's why we're here today.
Beautiful,
So it's
beautiful,
been pretty
man.
cool.
And I remember probably a couple of months ago, you kind of reached out and you were like, "Hey, man, I'm going to be moving town, and I've got the face-to-face business is going all right, but I'm freaking out that I'm going to move town. I'm going to leave all my physical business, my physical clients behind, and I'm going to this new world. And what the hell am I going to do?"
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, man. It was pretty crazy. And obviously, I mean, what the techniques that you guys teach and the system that you guys teach is, lo and behold, like universal for one-on-one. And I've got a waiting list of people. I haven't started. Actually, I promised myself when I moved, I made the decision to not do anything for 6 months face-to-face. And that's working out. I might not even do it. I think I'm going to pick and choose the people that I have a wait list with right now that want to work with me. I'm just setting up some nutrition plans for some people here. But the clients that are in Vancouver, are all online with me now, and they still work with my business partner and my other trainers. So we've transferred them to online and hybrid training, which is where they do our online for the most part, and then they see us once a week or once every couple of weeks. And he's like, my partner's like, dude, we like just killed it on this, and we didn't lose any of that income. In fact, we gained more time. And because I'm only seeing these people once a week or once every 2 weeks, and then we're answering questions for them maybe like half an hour out of the week. So it's like, it's pretty cool, man. And they get to stay connected with us, which is awesome. So
yeah, which is awesome. And that's kind of, you got awesome clients that want to train with you, but if you move, you got to leave them behind other than going online, which is obviously, mate, you've settled into a new town and online's really going well for you guys. So 150 active clients, that's phenomenal. What's been your, I guess, your biggest week and your biggest month so far?
Biggest week, biggest month. We just cracked, last month would have been our biggest month. We did 10,000 last month, which was pretty amazing. So we cracked it right at the end. I didn't think it was actually going to happen. I was like, we were right on the like 9,000 mark. So we just went over 10K last month. So we've been doing 7,000 to 8,000 for the last like 4 months. And then before that, we were doing 6 consistently. And like I said, we were kind of doing a slow build, and then we really turned it on for the last 6 months. And we've been above, without any paid advertising, we've been above 7,000 and above for the last like 4 or 5 months. So
beautiful,
it's been really good. So biggest month was last month. We cracked 10K. We did 10, almost 11. So it was like, and that really got me too. That really stuck in my craw a little bit, that one. But it was,
you'll get it next time. You'll get it.
It was funny, man. But it just keeps progressing, which is pretty cool to see. And I think the funniest thing for me is like to see, this is the first time ever, like I've always known that I want to do this, but this is the first time ever that my business partner and I like have ever seen the path, like really see the path and see how it's laid out and how you can scale it. And if you can just be content, you can see where you can jump off and just let it be. If you want to make it bigger, you can make it bigger, or you can make it smaller, or you can, whatever you want to do. It's like on and off, right?
Total control.
As much work as you put in is what you're going to get out. And I remember the Jeff Jowett interview that you did. Didn't make any sense to me at the time, and now it does. It's like, I just thought it was inspiring, and he was hilarious. But it was, man, he talks about the leads and the lags, and it's like what you put in is what you're going to get out. And the leads are the things that you put in behind the scenes, and the lags are the things that you get out. And I think I got that correctly.
Yeah, lead measures, lag measures. Exactly right, mate.
Yeah,
lead measures are the activities, and lag is the result that comes
man,
as a result.
Yeah, so, and it's cool, man. Like as much effort as we've put in, and again, without paid advertising, we beat 10 grand. So I'm pretty pumped.
Mate, that's phenomenal. And obviously now we're going to jump into be taking you guys through the advertising, getting that going, and then that's really going to blow everything up. But I guess moving into some areas that you've 150 clients, to get 150 high paying clients, you've obviously had a handful of sales conversations. You've obviously had a handful of closes. So if someone's sitting there watching this interview and they've got nothing online yet, but they're trying to get online leads to try and get in conversions, or alternatively, there's someone here that's had an online business like yourself in the early days and trying to grow it, what would you give? Do you have like 1 or 2 tips you'd give them in regards to, once they get a lead, what are kind of the secrets, or 1 or 2 sort of best tips from going from a lead to actually turning them into a high paying
Oh, oh, that's pretty simple, man, for me in my mind. And like what I think, like I think that was like the hardest part for me because I never wanted to be salesy and I never wanted to be that guy. And you certainly don't learn that stuff when you're training to be a PT.
Yep.
And so I think that like some people have a natural ability to talk to people, and I was a counselor for a long time, so I was always able to talk to people. And I think that skill, there's one skill that I learned in counseling, and in counseling, it's not about advice. It's not about talking. It's about you listening and really hearing what is going on for that person and being able to understand them. And that's really it. And if you can hear them and understand what's happening for them and know that you can help them, that's huge. Like that's a big deal. So I think for me, it's like really listening, really listening to what's going on, listening to the pain that they're in, listening to what they're struggling with, and understanding what your skill set is able to do, and creating a message that's like that. And being able to, because you're listening to what's going on, I think being able to roll with the moment and go like, hey, like we do that. Like, this is what we can do for you. Like, we can get that accountability. We can get that motivation for you. Like, we can help you do that. This is a custom program. We can help you lose that stubborn belly fat or that tummy or whatever you want to say. But I think for me, like the biggest one, the absolute biggest one, and we close between my part, like myself, like in my business, I know I close about 60 to 75% people,
awesome.
like depending. And that comes from just listening, man. And then the second piece is having a script. It sounds silly. It sounds robotic. It sounds whatever. And I know that in the beginning I was kind of like, I like being organic, man. But a bunch of ums and ahs and like, and all that stuff going through it doesn't say that you're listening. It doesn't say that you give a shit. It doesn't sound professional. Excuse my language. I can't really throw that out there.
That's all right. Oh, good.
I think that's acceptable in Australia. I don't know, but
common word here in Australia. Yep.
Yeah. So it doesn't sound like you really, you're a pro at what you're doing, and there's so many PTs that are like, we're really good at what we're doing, and being organized is just pro, and having a script that you can tweak, and you have your pitch around what it is that you do, just like having it boiled down to what it is that you do and what you offer, and then adapting it to what that person's pain is the thing, and that comes from listening.
Yeah, so, man. That's awesome. And I guess just to kind of amplify on the two things that Ben mentioned there is, first and foremost, listening. And I know when I first started doing sales calls, a lot of people, when you're thinking, I'm in sales mode, I'm selling. You're thinking about what you're selling more than what the person is saying. Yeah. And I know for myself, there was a period where, over kind of like a 2-month period, I did over like 500 sales calls. It was ridiculous. And after you do enough, you think back to yourself at the start, and you're like, God, I just listened so much more. Because in actual fact, if you go into the call thinking I'm going to sell, you're thinking about yourself and what you need to say. And as a result, you're not actually listening. Your ears aren't open. And your whole goal of jumping on a call is to help someone. But if you don't know what they're saying, if you don't hear what they're saying, you don't know what they need help with. Mm-hmm. So your job is not to sell you. Your job is to listen, hear what they need help with, and then just help them. And if you can help them and you listen to their actual problem, then they're going to become a client. There is no sales to it. And the other aspect, the script side, and probably the best analogy, a book I actually sent you, mate. The analogy I got for reading a really good book about this. People think scripts are robotic. You're going to sound like a robot. You need to make it up on the fly or whatever. And the best analogy example that I like saying is Mel Gibson in Braveheart. Awesome movie, phenomenal movie, and there's
one of my favorites.
Plenty of jerking moments in the movie, and the example is that Mel Gibson, multi-million-dollar movie picture, when he's on the horse and he's going back and forth, and the real big speech that just pumps everyone up, and there's 1,000 actors waiting there. Do you reckon the director set all of that up, had all that money on that day, and just said, you know what, Mel, jump on that horse and just be organic and make it up? No, he had a script. He had a script, but listening to it, millions and millions of people cried at that moment, felt the emotion, felt the passion, but Mel Gibson was reading from a script. So scripts do not mean they're robotic. Yes, you need to have a flow to it. You need to be listening, but scripts are what allow you to ensure that you're on the right track and you're actually doing the right thing. So, mate, two very, very powerful aspects you've noted there. So that's really good. Cool. Last question I've got for you, buddy, is some awesome real gold nuggets from this. Last question I've got from you is all right, you've talked about where you've gotten to without paid advertising. Paid advertising is very powerful. And if we were to do a video interview in another 2 months' time, Ben will tell you all about that. But
yep,
where you are right now, you've gotten to where you are with limited to minimal paid advertising. So what have been, I guess one or two of your biggest secrets or your biggest 80/20s in regards to lead generation so far?
Right. I knew this question was coming, and there's so many things. It's funny, man, because it's like one thing. Yeah. One thing's not better than the other, and that's the hard part about it. And there's so many strategies that you guys have put out there, and that's one thing I'll say. This is like you guys have so many little Easter eggs, like at the end of a movie where you're waiting for something to happen. Like so many Easter eggs that like of little things to get clients like all the way through, which I think is so cool because there's so many little wins. But I think for me, like my day to day, I have my whiteboard set up in my office, and there's one whiteboard that's devoted to it's like split in half, and it's my to-do list for the week, like all my big rocks that I got to move, and I've got my daily tasks, and I set my calendar for my calls, so I block it off so that I know that this time in the morning, and first thing in the morning, I get up, I read 5 pages of the book that you sent me actually right now, that one I'm working through. So I'm rereading that one, but I'll read 5 pages of that one, get myself in the mindset of what I'm doing, what it is that I'm going to do. And then realistically, I go through my group. I do my posts in my group and all the people that I welcome to, like some of my closed group and some of my freer platforms, I go through and I welcome individually and I say, hey, what's up? I hope you're having a good day. I'm so-and-so. This is what I do. Welcome to the group. And I make a point of that. I touch base with about 10 people a day around that. And then I do my group and growth stuff every single day. But I really make sure that and people in my group and outside of my group, like on my Instagram and stuff like that as well too, I go and I introduce myself. So I spend probably the first hour and a half of my day introducing myself, what I do, who I am, to these people, and starting a conversation. And something that's really stuck with me throughout this process is you got to be a friend to gain a friend. And I've watched that stuff grow instrumentally. And if they're not interested in taking me up on a call, if they're not interested in whatever, they've still touched base with me. And you know what? Like I've seen people come in like 4 or 5 months later to my free group that I talked to ages ago that weren't interested in nothing. So it was like, they weren't interested in talking to us, but now they're in my free group and they're there for me to talk to and influence and be a part of. So that one's been really huge for me, is just talking to people and reaching out and making sure that I introduce myself to people, because that's what you do on a gym floor, and that's it. So that's what I do daily, and I don't miss that. And then for, I say, lead generation, I make sure that I am posting to all of my places every day. And it's not just like, hey, we've got this tremendous offer. It's like, hey, this is like a little piece of content. Again, be a friend to get a friend. This is a little piece of content that can help you along your way. And I make sure that I post all of that stuff to my thing 2 or 3 times a day to everything that I'm doing. You can set that up automatically and do that stuff and then do that. And, make sure that I get my live videos in there as well too, so that people are getting a lot of value out of what we're doing. And I think that those 2 things, like those 2 value giving things, have gone a long way for us. It builds trust. People like what we do. And if they don't want to be a part of it, they don't have to. And that's totally cool. But eventually I've noticed that they have been, and it's been pretty great. There's this lady I talked to today that said, I didn't really know what you guys were doing and I didn't know what online was, but we signed her up today. So it was actually pretty cool, man. And
she was an Aussie.
Yes, she was the lady from Melbourne, actually. And she, funny enough, I talked to her doing one of those reach outs, just like I was taught to do, doing one of those little reach outs, outreach, and talking to them and introducing myself. I talked to her like 6 months ago, and she's like, no, I got this fitness thing under control. And, lo and behold, like something happened in her life and she needed a plan. And we were the guys of the plan because we made contact and, introduce ourselves and said what we were going to do. So I think introducing ourselves and then growing your group from the outside in as well too, like growing everything. It's really about making connection. And I think one of my friends said it to me the other day, and I hadn't talked to her in a very long time. And she was just like, I'm like, yeah, I get all caught up in money being successful. She's like, no, success is connection.
Yeah.
100%. And that's it. So I think that boils down to two things that I do every day, but it's really one big thing, and it comes down to being connected. And I think that's the big thing that I do every day, is try to connect with as many people as possible and just get it out there.
Beautiful, man.
That's good.
That's gold, and very much so. Like I said, if we were to have an interview in 2 months' time, Facebook and Instagram advertising, very, very powerful, but all it is just automating your connection. It's 100%. Automating the manual task of connecting, and that's all it does. So if you know how to do it right, it really allows you to pour fuel on the fire, because it does it for you in an automated format. That's awesome. Well, cool. I guess to finish up today, buddy, there's loads of information, loads of good stuff from that. So I appreciate that. To sign off today, if you are, if someone's listening to this that's a trainer, they're thinking about online, or they're online a little bit and their packages are terrible, they're not able to scale, whatever it might be. What do you have any advice for them on next steps to moving forward in a direction like you have?
Get a plan, man. Get a freaking plan. It's unbelievable. Like, do people come to us as PTs because they don't have a plan? They're the people that hang out on the cardio, sip some water, go pick up a dumbbell, maybe pump it a couple times, and then go back to that cardio. The people that have a plan are the people that move from exercise to exercise to exercise to exercise. Get a plan. Get some guidance. I mean, if you needed surgery, you're not going to go do it yourself. You're going to go to a doctor and get them to help you out with that kind of stuff, right? So meet up with the pros and have a real conversation and come up with a game plan. Because when I have a game plan, there's Andy in the background. That was awesome.
Yeah, Andy just did a walk by.
Yeah, sweet flyby. Get a plan. Go see it. It's called a business plan for a reason. You have a series of steps to follow, and it's laid out for you, and then you have people to bounce those ideas off of. I have a business partner, and that wasn't good enough. We needed to see somebody that's that can help us out with that stuff, and we came up with a plan, and we divvied it up. Like, in the beginning it was just me, and I did a lot of it, but I had a plan and I knew where to go. It's just like having the script and doing that stuff, right? It's not robotic, but it becomes a bit of a no-brainer that way. But get a plan. Get a plan. I can't say enough about it. Get a plan. It really helps. It puts you, I talk to so many people who are like, I don't know where to start. I'm like, well, that's just because you need a plan. Your goals are attainable. They're all super attainable. I didn't think that I could do the things that I was doing. Got a plan, found out that my goals were attainable. Here I am. I just bought a house. I went on vacation for the first time in 6 months, or 6 years. I keep saying 6 months, but 6 years. And I don't know. Sky's the limit. I'm excited to see what ads are going to do for our business and stuff like that as well, too.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Well, mate, appreciate your time. If anyone is listening to this and they want to check out your stuff, if they want to have you as an online coach, they want to see what you're doing, where would they go?
Where would they go? www.turnfit.ca. That's the name of our company, so check that out. And ask us, drop us a little message on our site and ask us about our online programming. We do programming for men and for women, 12-week programs, and we're just launching our elite program, which is pretty cool. It's a year-long program. Just got our first client into it, which is, we're giving that away for half price. It's $1,000. It's $500 a month right now, but it'll be $1,000 a month in a little bit. So we just had somebody sign up for $250 a week, which is pretty cool. So pretty awesome, man. So that's it. Yeah, www.turnfit.ca.
Rock and roll, mate. Appreciate your time. Thanks so much. I know it's the back end of the day in Canada. It's the start of the day here in Australia. But, mate, appreciate your time. No doubt we'll be speaking more soon, mate. And looking forward to making the ads really skyrocket and take everything to the next level, buddy. But thanks again for your time. And hopefully everyone appreciated the tips you gave, mate. Heaps of gold there.
Yeah,
and, if you've got any questions, guys, reach out to Ben. He's a legend.
Yep.
And, mate, that's it.
Anytime, everybody. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.